Hi, everyone. We are so excited for today's episode because we have an incredibly exciting guest who you will get to hear all about shortly.
We can't wait to be here with Christiana today. So, this episode really, we wanted to start and really talk about what it looks like to be successful on paper and what it looks like to be successful in real life and how those are oftentimes different things. So, with all further ado, Christiana, hi.
Hello, Brooke and Kelly. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's an honor to be a guest here today.
Thank you. Okay, so I know we're going to gush on you throughout this entire episode, but I wanted to let you introduce yourself. What do you want everyone here to know about you? And then I have a million burning questions about your story just because I find it fascinating. So intro yourself and then we can dive right in from there.
Yeah, we'll just do like high cliff notes. So, hello, I'm Christiana. I am a mom of two beautiful girls and a wife. I have a 6'3" Dutch husband. Fun fact in there.
Amazing.
I spent the last 7 years before I moved to Texas in the Netherlands and learned a second language, became a citizen of the Netherlands. And I got my start in entrepreneurship back in 2014, and I am rocking and rolling, doing some big pivots right now, and so excited to be here with you both today to share part of that journey.
Are you fully fluent in Dutch?
I would say there's 6 levels, A1 to C2. I'm B2 C1 level. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Can you say something like,
Ja, ik ben Christiane. Ik ben gewoon in New Texas gewonnen. En ik heb 2 kinderen en een man. Dat is Nederlands. Ja,
That's incredible.
thanks.
I spent
nice.
a solid 24 hours in Amsterdam in college. Because I
Love
studied
it.
abroad in Paris and did the overnight bus to Amsterdam for a night, had a crazy
Naturally.
24 hours and then went back. I was fascinated by the language. I was like, this is so different and so beautiful, but it doesn't sound like the rest, like the romantic languages like French or Spanish or Italian, which I was more used to hearing. Even growing up, I'm from South Louisiana, so my grandparents would speak like Cajun French. So I was fascinated by Dutch, and I'm
Yeah.
still fascinated by it because I was like, wow, I can't keep up with any of this. But it was so cool.
It is interesting because most people will think I'm speaking German first.
Mm.
There are a lot of similarities between Dutch and German. When you hear them side by side, German sounds more harsh. There's a
Correct.
lot of more direct in the pronunciation and
Yeah.
just how the sentences flow. Also so different from English. The where you put the verbs is I had to put boxes. This is English, this is Dutch. Not comparable.
Yeah. Yeah. You learned this in adulthood, I assume.
Yeah, in my mid to late, until I was 30, it was 24 to 29. I studied pretty hard. I was in a city way up north, close to Germany, so I had to learn it because there wasn't, in Amsterdam and Rotterdam, there's Dutch and English signs for everything.
Okay.
Where I was, there was not.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, if I want to make the most of my life here, I need to immerse myself fully, learn the language, the culture, and that really actually directly impacted how I showed up as a professional too,
Yeah.
in applying myself and going deep, and really thankful for that time and
Yeah.
what it taught me because it was tough, like the first couple of years. And even being in there during COVID era too was also an experience, but it really taught me a lot of very valuable lessons that are still true today.
I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense
Totally.
because there's so much that you have to put into learning a new language because when you grow up learning and thinking and speaking in one thing and it's a whole different world and it's not similar. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. See, things that I didn't know that about you at all. That's so
Yeah.
fascinating.
Do your kids speak both languages?
Hannah does, my oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, she only
Same.
spoke Dutch until we moved here. Spoke English with her in our house, though, so she
Yeah.
would, when we did eventually move, she would have that ability to feel that she was still involved, still understood.
Mhm.
I think it was 4 or 5 months until she switched to English only, where she was blending the two for a little bit, or just not at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really powerful. A lot of Europeans speak multiple languages, not just two as a basis, but it's literally usually minimum 3.
Right. I applaud you also making sure that your daughters know, even just Hannah, because she was there,
Yeah.
but just the fact of you can still speak to her, that's powerful. And I think that'll really even just take her life and her career in a whole new level because the world is changing
Yes. Yes.
every day. And I think that's
Good
really, really
options.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you learn one language, do you believe it's true, having been from, I know this is not what the podcast episode is about, but it's interesting. Once you learn one language, it's easier to learn more because you're already used to kind of being able to shut your brain off in English per se to learn something else. Do we feel like, or is that a rumor?
I think it's true because you're letting go of a framework that was just how it was.
Yeah.
And that's where it really unlocked being able to not just learn pen to paper and reciting, memorizing, but sinking in where this is how Dutch is, this is how English is.
Yeah.
I can't compare them anymore because that was the biggest roadblock or mountain I had to ascend and
Yeah.
and get to the mountaintop to like, okay, this is it. Once that was erased, okay, I'm just going to apply this is how it is. And so absolutely believe that once you learn one, it's a lot easier to learn a third because those framework that is gone or limiting belief is gone.
Yeah. What would you say is the number one thing learning another language has taught you that has benefited you in your entrepreneurship journey?
Oh, that is so good. Not just the practice makes perfect, but I think the concept of fully immersing yourself somewhere. And so that could look like immersing you amongst people that inspire you, that are where you want to be, mentors, peers that are doing all the things that you see yourself doing. Because putting yourself in a room with minds that are ahead of you is only going to further open your own mind to what is possible for you, what you may not even have thought before you walked into that room. And yeah, full immersion, absolutely applicable to both.
I love that. Probably also getting uncomfortable because I'm sure learning a language, immersing yourself in a whole new culture in any aspect, doesn't matter where it is or how it is, or even if it is on an entrepreneurial realm of I'm just walking into a room to network and this is uncomfortable. That has probably served you so well.
Yes. Doing the uncomfortable things. Yes. Because so often those first couple of years, the conversations were so shallow because they didn't have enough depth in English and I didn't have enough depth in Dutch. So it felt very isolating, even though I was in a room full of people. And that was a big, okay, I have to go deep to be able to go deep in relationships here and for my career, for my family life, for my friend life. It was a challenge. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because isolation and yes, you had your husband who I'm assuming was able to speak to you fluidly in either, but your husband can't be your everything.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was really healthy that I thought he can't be everything. I need to do more and not put everything on him in learning. I would come home from lessons and ask him questions and he would say, I don't even know those rules. We probably don't even know some of these rules in English either.
Because they're so proper, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. But to fully dive into the episode, one of our favorite things to do on this podcast is just create awareness around duality, because I think one thing in entrepreneurship, especially in the online space, it can look like everyone has their shit together and everything is perfect and they are having $90,000 launches and life is just magic. And because Instagram is a highlight reel, and I think entrepreneurship on the outside can often look like a highlight reel. So we want to bring more awareness to the reality of duality. So something can be absolutely incredible and shit all at the same time. You can be having your highest high and your hardest personal battle. So what's something that feels aligned, magnetic, or expansive in your world right now?
I would say the last month I just decided I have nothing to lose and I'm going to shoot every shot that I can.
That's beautiful. I just want to kind of sit and that alone is so beautiful.
I don't feel like I'm at rock bottom, but it does feel very rocky to get moving again. Both this feels so good and really tough at the same time. Yeah.
That answer is a duality, honestly.
Yes.
Not that everything's on fire, but it is hard. Even when something is in a semi-hard season, it can be really hard to find that motivation to get back going, even though underlying you have every motivation under the sun, because you're I know I can get where I want to go. I see it, I feel it, I can taste it, but it still feels just far enough away that it's I'm exhausted.
Yeah. that, not the desperation feeling, but it's the grasping because it feels still just out of reach. And the extension every day is tiring. This last month, I've learned a lot about positioning, and I knew nothing about how to do sponsorships and partnerships. And when I was finding a few people to speak on our panel that we're going to have at our brand launch in August, yay,
Which we're
Yay.
going to talk so much about.
Yes, yay. Foreshadowing.
Yes, someone said that she couldn't do it, but she has this incredible positioning that she always gives and has her whole business founded on of how can I support you still? And so I just thought I'm going to shoot my shot because I have nothing to lose. She can't speak on the panel, but maybe she can support me in another way. I said, I know nothing about sponsorships. I don't have resources. I am new to this in planning events on a different scale, on a level that I want it to be at. Do you have anything you would share with me, framework, formula for pitching? And I even had a little support from Brooke too in DM pitching. So thank you so much for that, because that has helped a lot.
Okay, good.
And so she shared this whole Google Doc folder with tracking sponsorships, what you're pitching, what is working. And so I did that. So once I had that, those limiting beliefs of, I don't know how to do this, why would someone or a brand or company sponsor us? I pitched to 2 really big brands out there that I felt really aligned with. Both of them got back to me and I had meetings with both of them. And we should be hearing back early this week because they're like, okay, how much? I was like, this much for this. Like, okay, great. I'm just going to connect with someone and we'll get back to you. So all of those, even figuring out the numbers of those details was scary to put numbers to value and all of those things. And using the words like those things feels like very broad, but the specifics of how much do I pitch? Like, how do I know that the value of what they're going to receive, what is in it for them? How do I make sure that they feel aligned too? And doing all the research on them, connecting with the right people, and just positioning. And it has worked out better than I could have thought.
It's amazing.
Or like in your head, it's way scarier than the reality is because you've never done it. But then once you put yourself out there and do it, it's like, oh wait, that actually wasn't that bad. And now when you do the 3rd pitch or the 4th pitch or the 5th, it's only going to get easier.
Yes.
Oh, that's exciting.
I just know people are listening and they're like, yes, quite, like they're celebrating with you on the other side as we are. And that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So obviously there's a lot of amazing things. And you said that there are some sticky things, but is there anything that feels extra heavy that you're okay talking about that's just happening right now, or somewhere you're stuck or somewhere that you're uncertain about?
I would say that, so my business partner is going through a whole lot. We're going to be revamping our podcast too, because she's going through a lot. I'm not going to specifically share what, but it has changed the trajectory of her life for her and her children. So she's been mostly offline for 2 months nearly. And so that dynamic is really tough to navigate in. We were both 100 in this, moving it forward, gaining momentum, about to, fly out the barn, like both doors wide open.
Yeah.
And then it's like her door didn't open. Yeah. And then there's still all this coming out that I have to somehow still keep in the air, manage. So that has been just the keeping the wheels moving every day, alongside all of the personal things that happen when you're transforming, when you're moving into a new season, a new level of you that was always there, but just was afraid to be visible.
Yes.
Fear of being seen is so real. And especially like I am someone who would identify as an extrovert. So truly, I have no issue walking up to a brick wall and introducing myself and having a full conversation. However, that does not mean I'm exempt from the fear of being seen. And it has been a very interesting thing to uncover. So I hear you when you say that, because it's hard. And especially when you're putting a lot on the line. And I think one day we should have Blair on as well. And we could do a whole episode about business partnerships, because obviously
goodness, that would be amazing.
Helen would know the life as well. And
it happens. Yep.
There's highs, there's lows, there's seasons where you give more, where she gives more. Like it's a journey.
Yes. Yeah, you guys know it so well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's that visible part, and it has kind of downloaded recently. I knew that I had those fears, but I started as a VA in 2014. And I realized those, and when I became an OBM, that I was just living vicariously through my clients and thinking I could never. I'm really comfortable here. I'm comfortable like where I am financially and growing my skill set, but I don't think I could ever do that myself. It seems too hard. You have to be seen so many people. They get these emails and, all of that comes with it.
Yeah.
Discounted myself for so long, until I had a coming to Jesus moment this last year and a half. So here we are, growing in visibility and finding the roots and realizing, wow, that's deeper than I thought it was. I'm staying back there.
Yes. Oh, yes. And Brooke and I are #1 fans of Jesus, anything mindset, and anything therapy. So we appreciate you coming on and being like, through Jesus and therapy.
Yeah.
We totally understand. And obviously, life is literally in chapters. Life is in seasons. And some seasons you're like, wow, I'm a freaking rock star. And then other seasons you're like, who was I yesterday? Like, what just happened? Like, thank God I woke up this morning. What's going on? And I think that is such a thing that people don't talk about. So thank you for at least bringing up, like, and I just needed to have a straight up come to Jesus moment of like, no, I can do this. Damn it. I'm amazing.
Exactly.
And that's really incredible. As a also extrovert, I get very uncomfortable when I'm in a room. I can walk into a room of 1,000 strangers and talk to everyone individually. If there is someone that like I have met previously and then they introduce me as someone, they're like, oh, she's a serial entrepreneur and she's a speaker and an author. And I get really uncomfortable with that. Like, I would rather be the one be like, hi, I'm Kelly. I own a couple businesses. This is what I love to do. I love coffee and Jesus. Amen. So nice to meet you. But if someone else does that, I have a fear of being seen that way.
Wow.
Because I almost feel like when I say it, it's less of like, I have to live up to that. Now I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, you're right. That is my accolade, but it seems different when it comes from someone else. And so really it's one of those like, thank God I have amazing people that are in my life that are willing to do that and willing to introduce me to cool people. But there's always baby Kelly in there that's like, I just don't, it's no big deal. Like, really, it's no big deal. And so I think we all have a stitch of that, no matter how extroverted and how much you are seen, but feeling seen in a different way is, it's hard.
Yes, that's so true. Because when someone paints you in a light that you don't usually paint yourself in, oh, that was uncomfortable. But
yeah,
thank you.
Like, you're right.
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I also think this is like a layer of like fear of being seen and maybe I don't want to say worthiness wound, but like being able to receive.
Yeah.
Right.
Is where it is. It's like being able to like receive, like have you ever received a compliment and you kind of deflect it and someone's like, oh my God, I love your shirt. And you're like, I love yours too. I'm the queen of that. I'm like, I deflect the compliment for some reason, like saying thank you. And like, I received that. Thank you so much. Or just a thank you and period is really hard. And it all roots back to just like having a hard time receiving a compliment, which is a piece of fear of being seen because that is being seen in a light, I guess. So there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Again, this is why we love therapy.
Yes. Thank God for it. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So, okay, one of my most interested parts of your story, if you will, a key part of your story is you had the 6-figure VA business that you kind of mentioned just now, and then you burned it all down and pivoted and started over. And I just find that fascinating because I think a lot of people, when you hit, calibers of success that you're like, I should love this. I should be so happy right now. I'm making the money that I want to make. I'm working the hours that I want to work. Like picture perfect Instagram highlight reel. Things look good, but like, obviously something didn't feel good underneath. So can you just bring us back to your story, your start in entrepreneurship, what made you go VA, and what was that moment that you went, I just built a 6-figure business and I don't want it?
Well, it was on a practical need when I started as a side business. I was doing nonprofit work and was supposed to raise, monthly funds to cover my living expenses and going and doing nonprofit work overseas. And I wasn't really a fan of relying on others and asking for help. So I thought, I'm just going to do this my way. And so I started my VA business before it was super popular. I mean, there was executive assistants kind of going hybrid, doing more online work versus supporting C-suite in office. So I did a mix of that. through 2019, 2020, and then started to dabble with a couple clients in supporting more of the operational aspects and some marketing campaigns and things like that. So I was loving the growth and opportunity. Then I met Blair in 2021, and that was where we had just a connection and synergy of there's something more here. We were new moms. It was COVID era. So we were just like, hey, let's put this on a shelf and come back to it when there's more capacity for both of us. And when I started moving back to the US in October of 2023, I reconnected with her. I said, hey, we should have like coffee chat. Like, I'm going to be back in the US soon. Let's talk. And so when we did, we decided to create an operations agency with us as the OBMs and then have project managers and virtual assistants. So from idea to concept or idea to launch, it was November 2023 to July 2024 of branding, messaging, figuring all of those things out. And at the same time, and I can recognize this now, a lot of limiting beliefs. Our messaging and copy was going to be attracting the not fully aligned clients. So at the surface, it was fantastic. It went great on paper. It went 6 figures in 8 weeks. And then as we started working with each client, things just became more apparent that, wait a second, like this is not quite what we imagined. And why is this? So as we dug deeper, because we both started doing it really in-depth therapy at the end of October into November. So we came together in December and we had this coming to Jesus moment of, are you feeling this too? Because sometimes I'm having nightmares about like working on Slack and I can't log out or something.
We're going to just talk about this. So
just talked about the dream about work moment because I'm like, that is a sign, like a personal sign for me of like, I'm about to hit my wall and my burnout wall when I start dreaming about work in like a very scary capacity or like, yeah. Continue.
Yep. When there's work dreams that are nightmares, big red flag.
Yeah, big red flag.
Big, yeah. So we just realized that there were aspects that we saw gaps in over the years. Like she started as a tech V, I think in 2016, 2017, not too long after I started. And we just saw the need for integral support and that it doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg to have your backend streamlined and that it wouldn't matter what tech stack you're using. And we wanted to support you in that. And that's the idea. So when we decided, okay, if we go this way, it means stopping most of our cash flow, probably having to use reserves to pay for business expenses as we're offboarding clients. Are we prepared? Are we checking in and committing to that?
Yeah, that's big. That's terrifying.
Yes, very terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we did that and we communicated with our team of what was happening, and we said more than likely there's going to be a gap season of we're not going to have work to contract you. And so everyone was on board and they all understood and wanted to support the vision of where we were going. And then in like late March, early April, things just went. We were ready to soft launch doing organic one-on-one networking, and a few of our old clients jumped in right away to in this support model. And then things just went a whole different direction for Blair. And so it kind of feels like a second captain was like a lasso was thrown down from a helicopter from a ship and she was pulled off board.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
Now I have to manage.
but like not in a happy way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of feel like I'm managing two of those. What are they? The not steering wheel, but for a ship. What are those called actually?
Like a console on both sides?
Yeah, like the big wooden.
Yeah, I can picture it.
Gosh,
I just watched Pirates of the Caribbean. I should know what this is called.
Right.
So two of those, and my co-captain is gone. So that's what it's, And however, now through just the work that it takes to connect genuinely and one-to-one, like belly to belly. I heard someone say that the other day and I was like, I love that phrase because that's where impact can be compounded because you're able to make such in-depth connections.
That's personal. That's
Yes.
a really beautiful way to put that. I love it.
Yeah.
It is.
So seeing now that fruition come to pass, like that's how I got the contacts of those brands that are going to be sponsoring our event, was through that intentional connection. So even though the work has felt toiling, it is coming. Fruit is coming. The trees are budding. There's flowers.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yes.
One thing I want to dig deeper on a little bit, because I feel like it could be really impactful for anyone listening. That moment where you and Blair looked at each other and knew the original business was just not going the way you wanted it to go. What was the voice in your head or the gut feeling? Like, what was that final come to Jesus moment for you before you went to Blair and went, I have to know if she's feeling this too? Because like Kelly and I have also had this moment before. So like I'm like
Zero judgment. We thoroughly understand.
bringing myself back to the moment myself. But what was that experience for you? Because for anyone listening who might be feeling similar ways or having similar nightmares
And feeling like, well, I can't change, everything else is going to just fall.
Yeah. I would say it was intuition that I pushed off for too long.
Yeah.
And my therapist has really helped me lock into, you will know first before external circumstances tell you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So for me, it's a gut feeling, like not like butterfly, but just a really deep or like concrete sensation of that this has to change.
Something's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. And after that first nightmare, I talked to my therapist about it. She said, oh, wow, that sounds like work is maybe impacting you in a way that it shouldn't be. Doesn't sound like it's aligned very well anymore. And I was like, you're right.
And that's such a gut punch to hear.
Yes.
Totally.
Like,
especially as an entrepreneur. It's not like you can just move departments or, like this is your entire personality is basically like, oh, that's bad. All right.
Okay. Yeah. And now what?
and also this is paying for my bills right now.
Right.
And this is like, there's like such a real moment that comes with that of like, so truly kudos to both you and Blair for having that moment and not being afraid to take the jump of like, something's got to change, honestly, before it changes us too. Because like ignoring the intuition and ignoring those signs can only really go on before long, before life forces the change on you.
Right. Burnout or
sickness.
Sickness, total disdain for your business partner. Like, don't want all that smoke.
Right, like your team's going to feel that from you if you're frustrated and you're just not aligned. Your clients are going to start feeling that. Even if you're faking it till you make it, they'll feel it.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's all of the above is hard. And yeah, like Brooke said, like just, I hope you guys look at each other every once in a while and be like, wow,
we did that.
Life is hard, but we decided to make that hard decision because it's going to get better. They always say no rain, no rainbows, right? So I think Brooke and I have also been through a very long season of rain.
Yeah.
And there are some rainbows. Like we can see them over there and we're like, wow, that's so pretty. We inch closer every day. And so I applaud you and I thank you for being so honest about that.
Yeah. I feel like this is part of the reason that we started the podcast in January, to document what it's actually like, and not in remembrance of, but the real deal feelings.
Raw moments.
The raw moments.
Yeah.
As they're transpiring. Because so many people feel them too, and not many people talk about it or enough.
I feel like you read about it. I really actually love your point out of the remembrance because, success leaves clues. So I adore reading autobiographies or people's memoirs of how they built their businesses. And a lot of people do write about the hard times. But I'm like, wait, where were you talking about this? And like, no shade, no tea. Everyone can talk about their own stuff in the timeline that they want to. Right. However, it would be nice to hear more from the moment while people are going through hard things. Because a lot of times you're just looking through the lens of like, wow, everything for them is going perfectly. What am I doing wrong? Why do I not have the overnight success? Why do I not have the insert anything? So I really love that, like talking about it in the moment versus waiting until everything's perfect and magical and saying, remember.
Yeah, exactly. It helps you find your people.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to immerse yourself in communities and in places that you didn't expect, because someone I met at an event that I went to last week was, don't you have this podcast? I was like, yeah. She's like, I came across it on Spotify last week. It's like, oh my goodness. Like, thank you.
I love that.
So it's
to be found on Spotify is very impressive. So
big deal.
Cheers.
Get it. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Her Next Move podcast.
Amazing.
Yes. Her
Everyone
Next
tune
Move.
in. Yeah. It is really scary to put yourself out there and talk about when things aren't going right, because I know as a business owner for a long time, I carried the belief, and I'm still working through the belief that like, but if I say that something's not going perfectly, then people aren't going to take me seriously as a business owner, because if this isn't going perfectly, how can I possibly be good enough to help them with anything else? And just for anyone listening, that is just limiting belief. That's your brain being a dick. That's not real. Let it go.
Yes. 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 Have definitely worked through that too. It is a mind fuck.
Totally.
In itself of your brain keeps you small because it's where comfort is. Outside the comfort is where the growth is, the expansion is, the levels of you that are there but are like locked up because your brain doesn't want to go there.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm. And that could be anything. That could be personal, professional.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of times where I'm like, wow, I just had to like tiptoe over here and like, what happened over there? Like, no way, Cal, never again.
Never again.
Yeah.
And I have countless examples of that. But even now, like I'll get stuck in a small mindset and I'm like, no, but like this is scary. Or if I do that, then this could happen. And it's just your brain being like, Kelly, you're just going to stay here because this weird gray area is comfortable right now.
Because it's safe.
It doesn't feel good, but it's comfortable.
Mhm.
So I love that in
Yeah.
general.
What's your favorite way to regulate out of that? Like, what are both of yours favorite ways?
Great question. I'll start. I wake up every single morning and I pray. It's like literally the first thing that I do every morning. I wake up and usually I'm like not awake yet. And I'm like, hey God, thanks for waking me up today. Looks like the sun is out. Love that for me. Thank you so much for my snuggly cats. And right away, I just feel better because I had a moment with God. But if I don't work out every single day, Brooke knows, most people that listen to the podcast know, it's like I harp on this over and over. If I don't go to yoga or if I don't move my body in any way, I am just not the same person because I need to physically move that energy out of my body. That's a huge way that I regulate my life, my emotions, my calendar, really all of the above.
For me, meditation is a big one for me. Like meditation, period. However, a newer epiphany about myself, I would say, in the last like couple months or so is I can tend to be an intellectualizer. I'm obsessed with mindset work. I'm obsessed with nervous system regulation. I got certified in NLP and hypnotherapy and EFT and all these modalities because I love it so much and I believe in it so fervently. However, I know the things that I know and I understand how the brain works in certain ways. And I don't know everything. I have a ton left to learn. But because I'm very aware about myself and my thoughts of all of this, I can tend to overthink and logic myself out of things. So like if I'm feeling dysregulated about something or a limiting belief comes up, like I will very quickly be like, oh, I feel like this because one time in second grade, like this is where that got planted. A teacher called me stupid, whatever it was. That's just like a random example. I'm very quick and aware to go to that moment. When was the first time you felt this? Like, and going back. However, since I can like kind of intellectualize myself through it, I find that I don't really let myself feel it. And like subconsciously in my head, I'm like, oh, cool. I healed it because I identified where it started, but that's not actually healing anything. And if I skip over the feeling it moment, then it's not healing. Recently, like meditation is definitely still a number one for me when it comes to regulating, but I've learned that I need to be a little more somatic in my healing and my regulation rather than just in the mind. So meditation now is not just visualization or just meditation, like just traditional meditation, even though I'm still obsessed with them, but they're much more breathwork heavy. And I focus more on identifying what the feeling is and not just saying I feel anxious, but like I feel anxious. I feel it in my chest. It looks like it's a ball with like weirdly smooth spikes, which sounds so weird and specific. And I'm like, it's like a bluish, purplish red, which again, like none of these really make coherent sense when you say them aloud, but it is how how I can like picture the feeling. And when I zoom in more on really just, again, zooming into the feeling rather than talking myself through it, that regulates me so much more than just logicking myself out of it. It's almost like I'm too smart for my own good and I have to focus on how it feels in my body, but because I try to skip it.
That's so powerful because my therapist is so brilliant. She does the EMDR, but there's something that she calls, I think it's called brain spotting. And there's all this research and science behind it. But you look somewhere specifically when you're recalling trauma or pain.
Yeah.
And then she has, in the first couple sessions, she identified somewhere that I actually feel safe to bring things out and up so that it removes it. And she was talking about how staying curious when that anxiety comes up, when these feelings that are not aligned and supportive come up, to let them up if you feel it specifically in your body somewhere, putting names to it or describing exactly how you are, because then it makes it less scary and identifying and then allowing it to come up and out and
It's like a
letting
tangible
go.
thing. You're like, all right, that purple, blue, red ball, get out of here.
With smooth spikes, get out of here.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Like, you sound nuts, or like I'll journal it sometime,
Yeah.
and it's like you feel kind of nuts saying it because I'm like, what the heck even is a smooth, spiky ball? Like, doesn't make any sense. But like, that is what my anxiety is festering as right now, if I think about it visually. And it does. Honestly, like, I'm going to have to look really more into the why behind it. But for someone, especially who understands this work as you do as well, and someone who's been in therapy longer to like understand these patterns, because like once you've been in therapy, you can kind of, you get better at being more aware, and
Totally.
because you pick up the skills and the tools from your therapist. It's very easy to skip the feeling part.
So true.
Because
So
who wants
true.
to feel it? I'd rather be like, yeah, I know why I feel like that.
Okay,
Go
it's
ahead.
from there. Okay, check. Like,
Check. Literally, it
It's a
became
box.
checklist.
Yep.
Became a checklist. And even doing the like, I love EFT.
the tapping. Yeah.
Proponent of EFT. It's amazing. I even became the person I'm like, okay, I know where it came from. I just did a cute little tapping script. We're good to go. But like, I did not feel it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, you gotta feel it.
that's big.
Mm-hmm.
That's big. And so
Yeah.
self-aware of you also.
Thank you, but I can go overboard with it. So what about you? What is your favorite way to regulate in those moments?
I say it's like a combo of that. It's a prayer and meditation together. And sometimes I am doing EFT using the tools from my therapist. I think also in that November, December period, I brought too many new habits along for what I wanted to regulate into, that it was almost too much for my nervous system to regulate. And that I think after 4 weeks, I almost let go of all of them because it was too much to maintain. So after I learned the habit stacking of just keeping one for an amount of time, then adding a second, that has been really powerful.
I love that awareness. So like, again, kudos to you on that. And I think it's an important thing to acknowledge. I always like to say it kind of like similar to like if you're trying new skincare. If you try 6 new pieces of skincare at once and something breaks you out, you have no freaking idea what did it. Whereas if you are slowly integrating these new things into your life, whether it be skincare or a habit, and something feels off or doesn't align, then you'll know exactly what it is so that you can take it out and put something else in. Or it's working amazingly and now you can stack another on top, but like your nervous system feels safe to do all of it. And exactly. I think, yeah, it's whenever I'm like, on TikTok or whatever, and I'm like looking through people with the perfect Instagram or TikTok lives, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what they do in their morning routine. I need to try it too, because clearly it works for them. And you try to do all of it at once. It's like, it's never going to work. No.
Yeah, you'll quit within day 2, right? That's human nature.
Yeah.
Speaking of nature, something that I also love, and I live in Seattle, so like 50% of the year it's raining. I will just go outside and just breathe some fresh air for a minute, regardless if it's raining or not, because I really love nature. Like right outside of my window is the Puget Sound, and then beyond that is the Cascade Mountains, and I'm really blessed to have this view right now. But when I moved across country here, I need to be close to the water. I'm a mermaid. And so for me, I'm like, I need that. And so every morning I get out of bed and I'll literally open my blinds. Like, good morning, Seattle. And I just sit in that like gratitude moment of like, I can see this. Not everyone has this view, but this is mine. And the water instantly calms me down. So if I'm trying to fall asleep and the anxiety monsters come in, I'll put on wave noise. And some people, it drives them crazy. But for me, I'm like, I feel my most calm when I am near water. So that is something that I had to intentionally choose for myself.
Yes.
And so that's just another. Do you have anything like that? Or like, I know Brooke will listen to some Hertz when she has need for like a sound.
I do that. I do Hertz sometimes when I'm working, or if I need to regulate out of feeling like stressed or anxious. I love the sound of water as well. I would love to live on the beach or near water. There is actually something scientific with that though too, with water visually calming you down. So that just checks out, makes so much sense.
Yep.
I would love to.
I like that. Okay.
But I am outside often with my kids barefoot and just stepping outside sometimes in the middle of the day, even if it's like 95 degrees because it's hot here. It's worth it to just take a second, like hand over heart, hand over belly. I'm safe. The stress is not going to kill me. it's going to be a new day. It will all be okay.
Uh-huh.
Something that simple is
So
brings you
powerful.
back to earth,
Yep.
to yourself, bringing your energy like back into you. Like, it's so simple and so powerful.
It's something I took for granted for so long. So, like, I'm originally from South Louisiana. I grew up playing outside constantly, like, and I did not realize. Also, I don't, and I enjoy astrology, but I would not say like I know all the things about it. Like, I know
Same.
like what the houses are. Like, I'm aware of a decent amount of it, but like I am not an astrologist. So I'm an earth sign though. That's why I say this. So I never realized how much like grounding really makes a difference for me until I moved away from it and lived in New York for 5.5 years. And like we did not have a yard, obviously, in New York City, and really even access to grass out easily. Like, yes, there's Central Park, but like we weren't going to Central Park every day. And I would go months at a time without touching grass. And honestly, it's similar here in Dallas now, just like where our apartment is. We go forever without touching grass, and it's one of those moments when I start to feel myself really really spiral, and I don't know if it's the earth sign thing in there too that makes it even greater. I'm like, wow, when's the last time I've touched
Touch
grass, like
grass.
feet in the grass? And my husband will like pick on me every once in a while, like lovingly. He like understands it, and honestly he's the same in many ways, but he'll be like, do you need to go frog? Do you need to go like be a
Frolic,
frog in
real
the
quick.
grass?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I really do.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. I mean, have you both seen Sound of Music?
Oh gosh,
Yes.
yes.
Oh my
Love,
God, it's
like
been
it would that scenery shot of frolicking in those fields with the mountains.
I need it.
Right?
Need.
I need it.
Need.
I
Right?
haven't had that moment in a long time.
With Julie Andrews just casually singing behind you
Yes,
sounds
exactly.
perfect. Yeah.
Only.
Yeah, exactly. So, would you say that these are the things that really help you on a business front too? Obviously, you're a busy mother of two, you're a lovely wife, you're running a business, you have a podcast, you're doing all these events, like all these things. Are these the same modalities you use, kind of like a day-to-day nervous regulating?
Definitely, definitely. And I wish I would have applied them sooner. I think especially with when it's little child years, like under they're 5 and 2, so they just fight a lot, which it's to be expected.
Yeah.
I did when I was young, right?
Yeah.
That's what you do with your
yeah,
sibling. What else do you have
that's
to
what
do?
And it has nothing to do with me, but I sometimes just feel so dysregulated that it triggers me. And where I yell reactively instead of responding. And I am fully aware of how my reactions impact their ability to regulate. Usually
Yeah.
it's just like grabbing them both, like twirling them in a circle, and then they're laughing. And then it's the screaming's over. Like,
Yeah.
or I could have been reactive and like yelling at them, just stop, like let's pull this away. And it
Helps knowing.
takes a second to decide differently. And that can only happen when I've chosen to regulate myself first. Go stand in some grass, come back and twirl them around. Yeah.
It's also a pattern you have to practice. That's
Yeah.
not like the innate, especially if it isn't the innate and like you're maybe doing this differently than how you had experienced it growing up and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Like it's a pattern.
Yes. Yeah. And again, therapy has helped
God
to
bless.
identify those things, and choosing differently not only heals my inner child, I'm hoping that, of course, it's going to impact my kids, that there's less for them to heal from and to see, because I didn't have the thought or idea that I could have my own business, that I could do what I wanted to do for work, and that they don't see me only ever on my laptop with them, that we're able to create a life that we want and that is aligned, and that mom is not always yelling at us, but she like picked us up and twirled us around when we were fighting.
Yeah.
Like
I love
that
it.
kind of legacy and
Yeah.
memories is what I want.
I love
It's beautiful.
it is. Yeah. So your girls obviously get to see you growing this business, and they know mom is a badass. And I'm sure they'll understand it even more as they grow and get older and can really understand what you do. Tell us about, so you told us about the original iteration.
Yeah.
Now you are here rebuilding with intention, building Her Society Solutions, having the podcast. What does business look like now? Tell us about now. Tell us about the
Yeah.
launch event, but kind of
Yeah.
bring us back for a second.
It looks like now, I would say more regulated than before. where supporting clients too feels more aligned, where they connect with us when they're not doing well too. And we're not serving on an OBM capacity for a lot of people. It's maybe 1 or 2 people a month where we're doing sprints for 60 or 90 days because 38 days is not enough to have operational support.
Totally. Yep, we get that.
Yeah. And we have combined, which is why we didn't feel aligned before. We're combining this nervous regulation support and resources and being able to identify those limiting beliefs in their business that's holding them back on a personal level too.
Amazing.
And so that just feels so right and aligned again, of course.
Yeah.
To be working with women who see it and value it and also realize that they needed it. And they're like, I'm only paying for, tech support membership, but I messaged you because I was having an off day and you guys were able to identify it was something else. We're like, that's what we're here for. We got you.
Literally amazing.
It's
Amazing.
so fun. There's like messaging that calls people in because like as a business owner, we're all very ROI focused and like gotta do. And it's so funny, the messaging that will bring someone in that is obviously still very accurate. Like, yes, you are there and providing tech support, but what they think they need and then what they actually need are never
the same.
It's always like, actually, yeah, I got you on this, but really, let's talk about that feeling that you're having right now. Let's dig deeper.
Yes. Yeah.
But no one believes that that's what they need.
No.
At first.
No,
and the people that are willing to go there.
Yeah.
When you propose a question or a thought, that they're not offended or thinking that you're prying. So it feels so, good, aligned, right to be working with those types of clients and just other business owners who get it and are running not after just financial or status success, but the true personal success of what it means to feel regulated in both personal and a business front.
And have a business that you run, not one that's running you. Exactly.
Hey, so good. So when it comes to, obviously, you're building this really safe space for your clients. It's not just like, we're going to make sure that, your ROI goes up because all these things are working. I'm sure it's very similar with your team. So I'm sure they are very happy that you guys understand that life happens and that you get that and that they can still grow, but you allow them to have amazing time for themselves and what that looks like. Can you tell us a little bit about like your team and delegation and honestly letting go of things that you were working on to give to your team? Like, how was that process for you?
Yeah, we still are in touch with every single person that worked with us supporting our previous clients. And I think that is no easy feat of that you can still have that connection, even though the business collaboration is not there anymore.
Right.
We were really intentional about not feeling like it was an employee-employer type of relationship because we had both experienced the negative side of that, or even just the contractor side of, this doesn't feel right. Why is there so much micromanagement happening?
And it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. I hate micromanaging people. I'm like, I can barely keep up with myself. I don't need to do you too.
Yeah. We leaned hard into ClickUp as far as just expectations of what was expected when, and just had a check-in on Tuesdays and then a check-out like on Fridays of what you were planning on working on, what didn't work out. And then if you need any support from us, we're here from you, but we're not going to be like, when are you getting that turned in? Like, we expect you're all adults. You are able to manage your time. If you need support, please let us know, and we'll check in on Fridays if there's anything that you didn't realize that you had the time or lack to get on top of it. And that just set the tone from the beginning. And there was only one situation that entire time that someone needed support on something. And and really thankful for the leaders that I had, I would say, in that nonprofit that demonstrated what healthy leadership can look like, and that micromanaging isn't the way, and leading by example, that we also didn't delegate anything that we hadn't done ourselves once. To prove that we don't only walk the walk, we walk the walk.
Right. Like, you're not above scrubbing the proverbial toilet. Like, you will do all of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, because there's some business owners who are not like that. They're like, that's beneath me. I don't have time for that. And it's like, yes, as a business owner, there are certain places that are maybe more of your zone of genius or are, your time is needed elsewhere for like to keep the business growing and needles moving. But you will be able to lead so much more effectively if you truly understand the role, every role within the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say those leaders that demonstrated was truly servant leadership, and it impacted me in so many ways
Mhm.
that are 10 years later
Still here.
plus
That's
still
so
here.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even in my previous to my entrepreneurial journey, just in my career journey, I had more what not to do managers than how to actually model good management. And I think that's also equally as valuable, but it does go down to that servant leadership. I think that's actually the best way to put that.
Can you tell everyone a little bit more about Her Society Solutions? Like, what is it? Like, what do
Sure.
you do?
Sure.
Like if we were in an elevator.
Yeah.
Like,
Quick elevator pitch. We are your one-stop shop for support on the back end so that there's less chaos and you can lead with confidence from the front. Practically, that means like your funnels, your websites, DNS records at 2 a.m. because you have launch in the morning and you don't have time to be making sure it's all connected.
That's
Amazing.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And you provide, for anyone who doesn't know, the actual like platform for them to build all of these things in.
Yeah, we've kind of like that has become the value, like icing
Yeah.
on the cake. We will support you where you're at right now with any tech deck stack that you're using. And
Okay.
that aspect comes as a bonus. And you can use as much or as little of it as you want. And that what I'm talking about is a CRM where we can streamline as much or as little as you like.
Mhm.
We have clients that come in and use we'll say 9 out of 10 of the aspects, and we'll have someone come in that's only going to use 2 out of 10. It just depends on where you're at and what matters to you, what makes sense for your business too.
Yeah, and I think it's important too, you guys are able to not sell it, but sell it in the way that it can grow with you and grow with your
Right.
business and your needs and your wants and your desires and your goals, because
Yeah.
every business is different. So if they are coming in and they only need, let's just say, straight up CRM management, like just
Right.
lead management, amazing. But then down the road, maybe they'll need text messaging or they'll need email marketing or they need a full website. You can offer all of those, and that's special.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially for businesses that are within, I would say, the first 6 to 18 months of starting, it really helps decrease the cost of feeling like you have to put so much out there to figure it all out on yourself by yourself. It's a great starting point, or really bringing yourself up to another level that you didn't know you could already is a good spot too.
And operations is what's funny to me about business is obviously like even before Kelly and I merged our businesses and I had a web design business, like I went into business because I enjoyed design and I enjoyed doing branding for people. I enjoyed web, all of that fun stuff, not because I enjoyed ops and all of the other things that go with running a business. And I think it is a ugly surprise a lot of people experience when running a business of going, I started this because I enjoyed copywriting. I don't know how to build an automation and a funnel so that my workflow works better.
Yeah.
But once you've experienced like that is something Kelly and I have really zoomed in a lot on our ops in the last year
Love it.
because it does make your life so much easier when things can run like a well-oiled machine, or you're not having to retype your contract every time you
Oh my
need
goodness.
it. That's such a freaking waste of time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing when all of the manual pieces that you used to do function automatically at a click of a button.
Magic.
Literally magic.
It's a not free, but it's kind of like a free worker.
Yeah.
Like
True.
you pay the fee to have the platform, but then they just take work off your plate.
True.
Wow.
Yeah. Love that. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Excited for what's coming this year because I know Blair's figuring out dynamics for her going forward. And I feel like she's kind of like a gun that's like ready to blow because she's been held back in a way for so long. And it's not her speed to be on the outside, not doing something for a long time. Almost 2 months. So I'm excited for her to like get back in it and to put more, I always say like gas on the fire that I've kept going.
The embers are happening.
The embers are still there.
It's going to explode. It's going to explode, and it's going to be so
magical.
worth the wait and the pause that may have happened to get here.
The wait and the pause. Yes.
Yeah. And clearly that was on purpose. You know, she's standing where she is with whatever is happening because that's what she needs to do right now. And I think you're right. The second, like, the cloud shifts, she's going to be like, let's go. Rocket ship to the moon.
Full guns blazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. So tell us about the event. Tell
Yes.
us about what that looks like. Who should be coming? How much
Yeah.
are tickets? How can people sign up? Tell us all the things.
Yeah. Okay. So we're having a big launch event in Phoenix, August 15th, Friday. It'll be from 1 to 3. VIP will be 12:30. And there's some fun perks for VIP. Like we're going to be working with a media company, fantastic photographer, videographer from LA. They're going to be doing updated headshots and some video content for VIP guests to just boost their brand and visibility. And we're going to have a catered, like, elevated grazing table for lunch, a panel on community building, and then some intentional networking pieces where I'm going to be creating, this is still ideation and building it in right now in Canva, but a passport with connections and like a QR code to download this like digital blueprint, like little contact space where I'm collecting information from everyone as they buy a ticket. What are you needing in your business right now? Or for you personally? Do you need a mentor? Do you need a community? Do you need a mastermind? And intentionally placing 3 of those people in that book for each person. And then beyond that, it'll be bonus. And there's some raffles from one of our sponsors. And it's just going to be a toast to not just community, but to your own growth, because community is so, so, so important, not just for the growth of your business, but for you as a professional and on a personal level to keep going, and that it is worth it, and finding the right spaces for you in your business. It's priceless. Yeah.
Totally priceless.
Amazing.
But when you put yourself in rooms that challenge you and push you to grow, and when you get to witness people who have done what you want to do, and again, success leaves clues, and like really ask questions and learn from them, it can change the game for everything.
Yeah.
And I am obsessed with that passport idea, and I love the intention that you're putting behind each person's individual passport. This isn't like auto-generated. It's very much like that should make the ticket holder feel very special. It's like, no, like I intentionally need to meet these 3 people because of the thing that I asked for that I need, or maybe how I can support someone else.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say, like, for those who should come are female entrepreneurs and the coaching, consulting, online service, like space, and that covers a lot. Brick and mortar is great too, because there are going to be some people going into that weekend. I strategically put it right before Powerhouse Women, which happens every year, because they're guesstimating about 1,000 women coming to that conference this year. And yeah, those who are building, whether you're early stage or you're 5, 10 plus years in it, also looking to support those who are getting started is going to be really powerful too.
Absolutely amazing.
Yes. What a beautiful room to be in.
Thank you.
Please send us the link. We'll make sure it's in the show notes for anyone listening, so you can buy your tickets and go to Phoenix and just celebrate the launch of this brand. And
come and see us in the desert.
Yes. And really putting yourself in places and spaces with other founders who get it, it makes such a big difference. It really does.
1,000%.
Okay, so for her, August 15th, you said?
Yeah.
12:30 is the start of VIP. 1 p.m. is the kickoff of the event, and then fun goodies from there.
Yes.
Okay.
Amazing.
Everyone needs to go.
That's so exciting.
Please do.
Okay, well, thank you for your time today. One question that we really like to ask everyone who comes onto the podcast as a closer of the episode is, if you could go back and sit across from yourself at the start of your journey, before the brands, before the motherhood and entrepreneurship, before everything, before the chaos, what would you tell her?
You don't know how good it's going to get, and that you deserve visibility too.
Oh, I just got chills. I love that.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I think I would just probably blow my eyes out hearing that.
Yeah.
But it then would ignite something that I didn't know was there.
And even on the bad days, you'll be like, no, but I said it's going to get good.
It's a promise. It's a promise from your future self of it will get better. And I think one cool thing about that specifically is there is a version of you 5 years from now who is looking back at you right now saying that.
That makes me emotional. Oh my God.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
It's only going to keep getting better, especially as you continue to pour more gas on the fire.
Thank you so much, Brooke and Kelly. This has been so special.
Our pleasure. So where can people find you?
Yeah.
Yes. Facebook and Instagram are both the official Christiana, and LinkedIn is Christiana Garza. And of course, our website, Her Society Solutions.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you. enjoy the rest of your day. All of the details will be in the show notes for everyone listening, so they can go to Built for Her, follow you on all the socials, and yeah, just connect.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We have new episodes coming out every Thursday, so we will catch you in one of the next ones.
And please take some time, follow us on @FindYourFuse or email us at info@findyourfuse.com for all inquiries and all exciting things that you want to chat with us about. We love building this community and we love you. Take some time and leave a review. Anything above 5 stars, we'd love it. But really, we appreciate you and we appreciate your feedback in any form, because the more feedback we can get, the better we'll get. Okay, love you. Bye.